Setting time aside for yourself is important. If you can give your job 8 hours, if you can give your man a certain amount of hours, your friends a certain amount of hours, then you can give yourself an hour or two a day. Hey y'all, so I was actually having this conversation with my mentee yesterday, and she brought up a good point to me that I really wanted to share with the girlies. And it's really about being feminine. And I've been seeing this on the internet. I'm sure everyone has been seeing it on the internet about how to be feminine and steps to being feminine and, you know, X, Y, and Z. And I think we should have a conversation about it. I am a person that likes to kind of get going. I don't like to beat around the bush, so let's get into it. Being feminine is already something that lies within you as a woman. Like, there's not a necessarily guidebook on how to be feminine this way or be feminine that way. One thing about being feminine is that you're already born with it, right? You're already a woman. We already got that step. The next step is understanding what makes you your type of woman. And what I mean by that is, okay, are you a woman that likes pinks? Are you a woman that likes earth tones? Are you a woman that likes to go and be in nature? Are you a woman that likes to be inside, likes to be by the beach? Like, are you a woman that's a little more calm? Are you extroverted, introverted? Like, being feminine is more about understanding who you are as a woman and what type of woman you want to be, and exhibiting those traits and habits of the woman that you want to be. It's more about the inside than it is the outside. This whole internet is making it like, okay, you need to have your nails done, you need to have your hair done, you need to dress a certain way, you need to talk a certain way, you need to do, and all of those things are good and dandy, right? All of those things help the outer experience. But when it comes to being a woman, there is an inner experience that needs to be worked on that's much deeper as well. So firstly, it's like your shadow work. Shadow work is something that's very hard. And what do I mean by shadow work? So being in therapy, shadow work is basically like removing all the shame, removing all the guilt, removing all of the things that make you feel less than, right? That make you feel you're not worthy, that make you feel like you don't want to do anything, you don't want to try anything because you might have made mistakes, or you might just don't know, and there is no shame to be around not knowing, you know? Or maybe you do know and you try something different and it didn't work out. Anyway, like, there should be no shame around being a woman, whether you are sensitive, whether you take your time, you're a little bit slower. That is what it is about being a woman. We're wired completely different from men, and being a feminine woman or just having feminine traits, it's all about how you operate as a woman, not how you operate as the person at work, not how you operate as a person at home, how you operate as a woman in whole. So there's no one that can say like, this doesn't make me feel feminine, or being around these people, they don't make me feel feminine. You should be a woman and walking in your truth with no shame and no guilt, regardless of who's there, regardless of who's talking to you, regardless if you're by yourself, regardless if you're around people. You should continuously be walking around in the woman that you see yourself as in the present and in the future. So how do we get in the role or the mindset of just being a woman that's, you know, let's just stop even saying it's being feminine. Just say you're being a woman. Just say you're being a woman. Like, let's stop with the whole I'm feminine this, I'm feminine that, like, just be a woman. First step to stepping into a woman is setting time aside for yourself. It's so important to start your day with yourself and with God, of course. It's very important to have a slower morning. As women, we're not able to like just get up and go. I mean, we can, but like, are you gonna have a good attitude for the day if you do that? Are you gonna be nice to people? Are you gonna be able to like genuinely like have a groundness to you and be emotionally set for whatever the day brings to you? Probably not, babe. Probably not. Like, you probably can if you really need to, but eventually you're going to need rest. As women, we need more rest. We need 9 hours of sleep, about 9 hours of sleep, not 6, not 5, not 4. We need about 9 hours of sleep to be able to operate. And when you wake up, it's just not healthy to just wake up and then hurry up out the door. Like, your brain doesn't even have time to wake up to do that. So give your body time and give yourself time to actually start the day, and start the day with appreciation and joy and silence even. But give yourself time in the morning to start your day. Now, that will mean you have to wake up early. I'm not saying you gotta wake up at 5 a.m. I'm not saying you have to wake up at 5 a.m. If you, so say you're a corporate girly, right? If you have to be at work at 8:30, then you probably do need to get up around 6 and give yourself at least 10 minutes to stretch, to kind of like not hop out of the bed, to lay in the bed a little bit and kind of just like breathe before getting out of your bed. Drink some water before getting out of your bed, so you're telling your body, hey, it's time for us to get up, it's time for us to start moving. Open your blinds, especially in the summertime. Sun is good for us. You need sun. Women naturally like warmth, so sun is really good for us. Open up your blinds, stretch for a minute or two, like get a really good deep stretch in, and thank God for waking you up for another day. Always have a conversation with God about waking you up before the day starts. If you can, set some time to journal. Like go to Walmart and get a journal that costs $5 and write down 10 things that you are grateful for. I don't care what they are. If you're grateful for coffee, write that down. If you're grateful for the sun being out today, write that down. If you're grateful for a new outfit that you just bought yesterday and you can't wait to wear it today, write that down. Write it down so your brain knows, hey, I have things to be grateful for. I have a reason to have a good attitude today. I said all that to say, setting time aside for yourself is important. If you can give your job 8 hours, if you can give your man a certain amount of hours, your friends a certain amount of hours, then you can give yourself an hour or two a day. It's fine. Even if you only can give yourself 30 minutes, say you have a busy schedule, that's fine as well. Give yourself 30 minutes a day, but don't give everything away to everyone else and you haven't given yourself anything. Women, we make time for ourselves. If we don't make time for anything else, you're going to make time for yourself, because if you're not okay, you can't execute the things you need to execute. Another thing about becoming a woman that you want to be, however that may look, you need to be comfortable with silence. Your silence says a lot more sometimes than your words. Now, I'm not saying to be a pushover. I'm not saying to stand up for yourself. I'm not saying don't voice your opinion. What I am saying is right time and place, right? Know when it's time for me to speak, and then know when it's not time for me to speak, actually. Ride in the car in silence. If you have to go to work and say it takes you an hour to get to work, drive in silence. See what God is trying to tell you. See what you're trying to tell yourself. See what actually comes to you. See if you can listen to your intuition, if you can hear your intuition. There's a lot of the times where we're so distracted by things, music, people, traffic, whatever the case may be. We can be so distracted, and then that is how we don't know what our intuition is telling us, because we haven't had time to sit in silence. Play some music that has instruments, or just try to get your mind in the right mind frame as a woman, and be okay with silence. If the room is silent as a woman, don't be the first to jump up and say something. Don't be the first to jump up and say something. You don't have to say. Your presence should already be saying something. As a woman, we're very powerful, and when you are a powerful person, you don't have to speak all the time. You don't have to voice your opinion all the time. And if you have to get it out, just get a journal. And if you have to get something out, write it out, and then throw it away, burn it, or keep it in your journal if you like to go back and look at prompts that you used to write. But get okay with being silent. It's okay. It's not weakness being silent. It's a time and a place. There is a time to speak, and there is a time to be silent. Learn when it's time to be quiet. So this next step does kind of go into like the outer appearance, but I do believe if you look good, you feel good. And as a woman, you should always want to look good. I don't care. It could be superficial, it could be vain, whatever you want to call it. As a woman, you should always want to look good. Make sure you look presentable before leaving the house. You don't know who you're going to run into, girl. You don't know who you're going to run into. So be cute. You don't know if somebody's gonna take a pic. You don't know if your friend gonna hit you up like, hey girl, let's go get some drinks. You just don't know. So as a woman, stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. So when we wake up in the morning, we're gonna get ready. And this is not saying you have to go expensive and crazy. No. Lean into your natural appearance, right? So lean into the natural features that you have. Get a good skincare routine. If you don't know what your skin type is, go to Sephora. They will give you a skin type test for free. Yes, they do it for free. And get your skincare based off of that. Once you get your skincare together, you can get your makeup together. If you're a girly that doesn't want to wear too much makeup, I totally get that. A little skin tint, a little concealer goes a long way. You don't have to beat your face every single day, but you need to look presentable, okay? You need to lean into your natural features. So try to lean more into your natural hair. I don't like my curls. Like I'm not gonna do them. I'm not gonna do it. Straight hair is just easier for me to maintain. So with me, I get silk presses every 2 weeks, and then I'll add extensions every now and then. But if you are adding extensions, make sure you take care of your real hair. If you are getting nails, make sure you take care of your real nails. If you are getting lash extensions, make sure you're taking care of your real lashes. That's all I'm saying, is make sure you, because what happens when you have a medical emergency and you can't get all of your maintenance done because you have to take care, you have to pay for this medical emergency? What happens then? What happens when you can't get your lashes done, when you can't get your hair done? You need to know how to do all of the things to make yourself look naturally beautiful that you already are, right? So just make sure that you are investing in your natural beauty. Make sure you're working out. Yes, you need to work out as a woman. I don't care what you do. You can run, you can do Pilates. Strength training is my personal favorite. You can do Legree. You can do cycling. You can walk. But you need to be moving. The body needs movement. If you don't move, you're just gonna be a potato. You're gonna be a potato. Especially if you plan on having children. Your body needs to be able to heal itself. And working out is a way to do that. So when you look good, you feel good, work out. Eat right. Your diet needs to be 80% whole foods. Not even joking. Especially if you deal with acne, hormonal acne. I deal with hormonal acne bad. So around my period, I have to maintain my diet, otherwise you will see acne all over my face. Now everything in moderation is fine. I am a whore, for Rice Krispie treats, ice cream. I will eat it every day. So you have to find alternatives for whenever you don't have that. Like, limit yourself. Make sure you have some self-discipline and self-control. So as a woman, you should have some self-discipline and self-control. Self-control is a fruit of the spirit. So you should be able to have some self-control when it pertains to what you eat, what you watch, etc., etc. But right now we're talking about food. So always make sure that you are eating 80% whole foods. You can train your taste buds. Okay? You can retrain your taste buds to not want so much salt, to not want so much sugar, to not want so much. When you take away these things, you will literally see how your body rewards you. You will feel like you're on a high based off of the foods that you're feeding your body, because food is fuel. I think we keep forgetting that food is fuel. So, and then every time you eat, take a walk. Take a walk every time you eat. Okay? If you want to keep the figure good, take a walk every time you eat. It's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. It's nothing wrong with that. As a woman, you should want to look good. That is your currency, is your beauty. So you should invest in your beauty, and you should take it very seriously. Most important thing you should be doing is spending time with God. Spending time with our Creator is the most important thing, and it's the most relationship that you need to have. I'm not a person that is a very stickler on certain times. Like, there's times where I wake up and I don't read the Bible, or I don't spend time with God like in an intimate way. until that night before going to bed. And then there's sometimes I do it all day. And then there's sometimes where I can do it in the morning a little bit longer. And then there's sometimes where I only have 10 minutes, you know? So I having a relationship with God, I do believe that you make it a priority. So I believe as long as you are making spending time with God a priority, then that's the most important thing. At least with my relationship and his relationship, is I make it a priority. I think a lot of times we get in these routines or these strict things, like, and it's really just your heart posture more than anything. So spend time with God, however that may be. You can journal, you can walk, you can sit in silence and pray and see what God tells you. You know, you can listen to worship music, which is my personal favorite, is to listen to worship music. You can do so many things to spend time with our Father. So just make sure that you are spending time with God and really getting that source of it's an energy exchange. So whatever your worries are, whatever is going on in your head and your body and all the stress and tension, give it to God. And that is what women do. We are very connected to the spiritual realm. We can create life. Is anybody else not freaked out about that, by the way? That we can create life? I'm sorry. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, that is actually insane. Anyway, you can create life. So you have a very special connection to God, our creator. So you need to be spending time with that. You have intuition. How do you think you know what your intuition is telling you? What do you think intuition is? So you need to be able to discern, are these my thoughts? Or is this my intuition, God talking to me? And the only way you're going to know how to do that, how to discern that, is if you are spending time with God and you are spending time with yourself and you are listening to yourself. So women also listen to themselves. It could be crazy. Everybody else could be like, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. If you feel it and it's just like, it may not make sense to nobody else, but it just don't feel right. Listen to it. I don't care if it doesn't come for another year until it makes sense, but listen to it. Listen. Don't second guess yourself as a woman. Don't second guess yourself. You know who you are. Breathe in that. Stay in that. Another thing that I believe being a woman you should be able to do is be able to forgive yourself. And I know this is going to be a sticky topic because we weren't necessarily taught that. We were taught to forgive others, but I don't know if people have really understood what it means to forgive yourself. So there might be mistakes that you've made in the past, right, where they weren't the best decisions. Everyone has made decisions where they weren't the best decisions. And you have to be able to give yourself grace. One of the tricks that therapy has taught me, and it works wonders, is imagine smaller you. So the way I see it, it's a smaller Ressie, and she is 8 years old. That's the version of the smaller version of myself that I see. She's 8 years old, right? And if she came up to me and she said, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. How could I have made this mistake? I should have known better. I'm such an idiot. Imagine if I would look at her and be like, don't ever speak like that about yourself. You made a mistake. You made the best decision that you knew how to make at that time. Just learn from it and move on. Don't ever sit here and call you. I would literally yank her by the shirt like, girl, don't ever say that about yourself. Because those things are not God, right? Those things are not God. You're this, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you made this mistake, you are your mistakes. That is not God. And anyone around you that is telling you that, no. I'm not saying go out here and just make all the crazy mistakes. However, if you genuinely are trying to be a better woman, hanging on to the past and harping on that, it's not going to do anything for your future self that you're trying to be. It's not. All it's going to do is when you get to the future version of you, you're not even going to be able to fully experience it because you're still hanging on to this past version of yourself that you just need to let go. The whole point of life is to grow. And if you're growing, then let it go. So I think that's one big thing that we don't talk about a lot, is forgiving yourself, understanding that it's okay to make mistakes. Try your best not to make them again. And the last thing I do want to touch on is just having emotional intelligence. I think I'm going to do like a separate video on this, because it is a lot of work that needs to be done to have emotional intelligence and to be emotionally grounded as a woman, especially logically. I think as women, a lot of times we go with how we feel, which is okay. We're like, that's how we're wired. We feel things very deeply. But I think also being emotionally intelligent is what I was speaking about earlier, knowing when to speak, knowing when to be silent, knowing when to go places, knowing when to sit down, knowing when to listen. You know, like there's so many parameters around being emotionally intelligent, but I think the biggest part is that your emotions are indicators, and all your emotions is indicating something, and feelings aren't facts. I know, but feelings aren't facts. They matter and they're important, but they're not facts all the time. A lot of the times they're not facts. And I think I am going to do just like a deeper video on like what emotional intelligence looks like, and how as women we can just be more emotionally in tune with ourselves, and not to let our emotions shape us, especially when they're so fleeting. You know what? Have you ever been angry about something and then 10 minutes later you're like, why did I even get that upset about that? Why? That wasn't me. So it's more about control over your emotions and more about listening to them in that moment and breathing in that moment. Whenever you're feeling angry, sad, disappointed, just breathing in that moment and staying grounded in the moment. And that's a hard thing to do. It takes time. It takes practice. So I think like that's going to be like another video that we discuss about. Anywho, the last thing I want to talk about with being a woman is being joyful. Have fun. Have fun. Do you know it's so fun being a girl? We get to play in makeup. We get to do our hair. We get to be like, we get to color, have coloring books. We get to play with Barbies if we wanted to. We get to play dress up with our friends. We get to like cook and like sip and drink wine and like all of these things, and we just get to have so much fun. Remember when you were a little girl, all you wanted to do was play? Just do that. Just play and have a good time. I think a lot of times we think things are just so serious. You are fun and playful and girly, and like you're gone with the wind, girl. You're gone with the wind. Just remember, life is fun. You're fun. Get back to a version of yourself that's fun and that doesn't take things seriously, and that laughs all day and plays all day and has so much joy. You know, get back to doing that as a woman, and watch so many doors open. Watch so many things just pull to you. Yes, I can be goal oriented. Yes, I can have all of these big things that I want to do. Yes, I can be serious when I need to be serious. But all in all, life is so much fun. If you look at flowers and you look at all these beautiful things that God has created, and understand that He created you to create life. I'm still can't wrap my head around that. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. But joy comes in the morning. If you had a bad day today, that's fine. Wake up the next day and make a choice, because it is a choice. Whether you're going to have a good day or a bad day, it is a choice. This channel, we are going to be accountable, and we're going to be responsible, and we're going to make grown woman decisions. But we are also going to have fun. So that's what this channel is going to be about. Drop a comment below if you like this video, or if you have a topic you want to talk about, please drop it below so I can see it, and we can just have a real open girl talk. Like, let's just talk as girls, okay? As women. Okay. Bye, guys.